You know we had to do a podcast, right?
What's your name, fat body?
Of course, you were looking food. What the hell?
I'm not fat, I'm big boned.
I'm gonna eat it.
You owe me for one jelly donut!
Fat motherfucker.
Listen to it. My wife said no one's gonna listen to us.
I've got bigger titties than you do!
Bullshit, because nobody fucking had geese back at that point for a bigger guy.
I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but I might be somebody's shot of whiskey.
You can't think about, hey, I need to lose 100 pounds, and think about winning that day.
Fucking, I want a cheeseburger and a milkshake. Yo, what's up, Fatleets, and welcome to episode 22 of the Fat Boy Jiu-Jitsu podcast. I'm your host, Fat Boy, and here to let you know, get your gi money ready. Friday, October 13th, another batch of gis drop. We have the return of the Oreo wafer gi and the new version, double stuffed. It is in white. It looks amazing. And not only are these gis, right now, nobody else has them in regular size. Actually, there's one, an A2, and my son has another one. Other than that, the only gis made are A2 Fat Boys, A4 Fat Boys. The A2Hs are back. The Fat Boy A2 Huskies have arrived, and I have introduced a new size. It is Fat Boys Jiu-Jitsu's A4 Husky. Wait. Let me say that again. I don't think you guys heard me. We are introducing a new size. The Fat Boy Jiu-Jitsu's A4 Husky. There you go. That's right. Yep. The with a couple of versions of the gis before, had a couple Fat Boys ordering them, and the A4, the Fat Boy was just too big, and they're still in between sizes where a normal A4 or A5 was kind of like either too big or just not right. So releasing this A4 Husky, hopefully you guys like it. So we got the gis coming out this weekend. The podcast now is being downloaded in 16 countries. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. Hold on. Let me give you an applause for that. Thank you. 16 countries. It's we're growing, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Appreciate all the feedback. If you guys can help me out, comment, leave a review on iTunes or your Google Play apps. Whatever app you're using. That'd be very helpful. So what's been going on in my life? Why haven't I been able to record a podcast for you guys? I'm kind of ashamed that I haven't or set aside time because oh shit, hold on, something's happening. Somehow I was opening 1,000 tabs in Chrome, and I didn't know what the hell was going on. I guess one of my cables was hitting a button on the keyboard. But before Sunday, I'm recording this podcast Tuesday night, by the way. But before Sunday, my wife and my daughter had been out of the state. She went to go visit her family and spend some time with them before heading back to work. That maternity leave is coming to an end, and she wanted we don't know when the next time she's gonna have a vacation. Pretty soon we're going to be moving. So with all that, she said, she brought up the idea, hey, do you mind if I go? And I told her no, it really didn't bother me. And I said, yeah, I'd handle everything here. Just go, have fun. And I knew I was going to miss him like crazy. I miss my daughter like crazy. But definitely was a great bonding time with my son. He ended up actually, during this time, we were supposed to go to a friend's wedding. And I ended up going. I went with my son. My son was my plus one. He enjoyed himself. There's a couple other his little friends, my friends' kids were there, so he wasn't alone. And he read a book while we were right before the wedding started. But man, he was looking so dapper. And I was, it felt like it was. I don't want to say coming out, because that's It was like an episode of Makeover, right? So I come out, and a lot of these friends haven't seen me in quite some time, so they see a Juan that's damn near 90 pounds less than the last time they saw me. And let me tell you, I am, and it's probably a fraction of what some people, hear all the time. But hearing at the wedding, hey man, you look good, man. You're doing a great job. That shit gets addicting, and that's and then so in a couple other podcasts, I tell you about how not to cheat and whatever, like that right there. The and while it probably sounds vain as hell, but the fact that someone sees and says, "Damn, you're doing good," is so powerful. It really is, and it can keeps me on track. It keeps me motivated, right? And I think it stems from like my previous attempts at weight loss. How man, I would fucking bust my ass, and yes, you're right. I would fucking eat and always be starving, and that one time you go and you fucking cheat and whatnot, and so you gain the weight back, and you're busting your ass, and you're busting your ass, and people may see you busting your ass, but because you never get any real results, it's like you do all this hard work and you get no payoff. And now, the payoff for part of it is people telling me, man, you look good, you're doing great. It's that it helps keep me on track, and goddamn, is it a fucking confidence boost? It really is, and just confirmation of yeah, shit can be difficult, and this is why you're not eating shit anymore. This is why you cannot cheat. This is why you have to stay strict in what you're doing. And don't, if that's it, my motivation is fucking vanity right now, right? So fucking what? You don't knock my motivation. It's getting me where I want to be, right? Or where I plan to be. Or sorry, where I will be, right? So, fucking the motivation ain't like it's or being addicted to being told you look good is not really fucking, it's not like I'm hurting anybody, right? So, oh, but don't you think I know when motherfuckers are being condescending too? You can fucking smell your snake asses out. Ooh, that is a snake. They mean snake. That was such hateful. Nah, it's not snakes. How do I say it? You just know when someone's not being fucking genuine, and that's like, okay, don't condescend me, man. I know, yeah, no, it is what it is, right? So what I did want to, I know last podcast I brought up how much or what the percentages were reading off of the scale at that time, right? So, well, I wanted to say, since I started keto, all right, I started keto June 28th. You can go back to that podcast and legit that very next day said, fuck it, that's when I'm starting it. Between January and June 28th, which was 178 days, so from that day to today is 103 days, right? So for the first 178 days, just eating low fat, moderate carbs, moderate protein, or just, the standard American diet or the standard fucking whatever the fuck that is. I don't even know anymore. I'm fucking between learning about keto, then, I had all my paleo shit fucking thing, your zone diets. Fuck, man. I get shit mixed up all the fucking time still. And, but, actually in that, like, not in what to eat. That I actually have on point, and I'm fucking really good at it. To the point where I guess as much as I want to be one of those people who meal preps for a week, that's not me. And I love the idea. I know the idea behind it. You know for 100%. Know what you're gonna eat. How much you're gonna eat and stuff. And I don't know if I do it to kind of be difficult, but every day I don't know what I'm gonna eat. Because I don't. There's times where I don't feel like I need to eat, so I won't eat. I don't want to stress about making sure, I have to eat this, because like I said, there's days where, it's 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't eat today. Fucking get some almonds or something, and just fucking keep on powering through to dinner, But I've gotten to a place where that works for me. So, back to what I was saying. So, in 178 days, the first 178 days of the year, I lost 36 pounds. I've lost 40 in 103 going keto. And to me, they were the hardest 40. They're the make it or break it 40. The ones that, the once unobtainable weight. That's what, that fucking area between 300 and 330 was. It was always that. And while they've always been the hardest weight to lose, this time it's really has been the easiest to me. Well, looking back, I guess during it felt hard and it was difficult just adapting to eating, 70+% of my macros just in fats, right? And not just fats, good fats, right? That's important. And I know with that, there's sometimes it's a little hard. I don't know if it's harder or more expensive. I think it balances out sometimes because while some of, avocados, fucking avocados are expensive, right? And I got this, and I'm a little upset. We have this avocado tree in our backyard. It it blossoms, it fruits avocados, but they never ripen. Never. And I don't know if it's, yeah, I'm sorry, that part of that cough is still kind of lingering. And by the way, thank you for powering through, if you power through episode 21. I sounded horrible. Thank you for for making it through it and not blasting me too bad for that episode. And I don't know where I was thinking. Like, I was talking, and I would just jump back and forth. Well, I typically jump back and forth because I can't, that whole train of thought just bounces everywhere, right? So, but I listened to the podcast. I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. Thank you. How do I have people in 16 different countries downloading? Thank you. Appreciate it. This, I'm like a believer now. I used to, when I first started keto, I had this idea. I was like, well, you know what? If it works, I'm going to, just use it. And then I think in the back of my mind, I still had it as, well, I'm just going to use it until I get where I want to be. And I'm going to eat back whatever I want once I get to where I want to be. And in these last 3 months, it taught me a lot about it and taught me a lot about myself, right? And I think I used to think watching what I ate 100% of the time was so difficult. It always felt like a fucking chore. And now it's fucking very easy. I mean, I even the other day, and I don't expect everybody to do this. I'm doing this because I want to challenge myself, right? And someone at the director of our office, he wanted to buy drinks for everybody to celebrate on Friday. Won a couple of huge projects, and it was celebratory, right? He wanted to invite everybody to some drinks, so he gets some beer and stuff like that, and he even goes, you know what? I'm gonna get something very light, because he wanted me to drink, and brings beer, and everybody's drinking, and they're like, you're not gonna drink? And I'm like, no, I really don't feel like it. Part of it was, I knew I was gonna go to jiu-jitsu right after, right after work. But I just didn't want to fucking have that shit in my body, really. I just know it's not it would have made me feel shitty while I was grappling, and I actually I just want to test my game. I want to focus on my jiu-jitsu, so I like, no. And mainly because I'm able to do more positions that before I had written off, because there was no way I was doing them at the weight that I was. It wasn't happening, and it was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do this and play top. And once I get side control, my fat ass, put fucking pressure. There's nothing you're gonna do about it. You're just gonna sit there and eventually die under my weight. So I tried to be different, but now I'm actually, fucking working, and it feels amazing. So I don't feel the need to drink, just for that. Like, I understand that's celebratory, and yeah, that's great. I just, man, I want to focus on this, and people at the office, it looks like I'm a curmudgeon. Jesus Christ, that took me fucking forever. What the fuck? Fucking, antisocial, and it's like, I don't have to drink to fucking have fun, and I already broke it. Like, I feel I can drink whenever the fuck I want and stop whenever I want. I just don't want to right now. And so I know how easy it is to, someone say, fuck, just drink with us, and you don't want to be the odd man. You don't want to be like, you don't want to seem like you're not trying to be a team player or anything like that. You know what? Fucking, if you just set up, what you want. And if that's not what you want to do, don't do it. And don't let anybody talk you into it. It took me a while to learn this, right? And this is part of my whole no cheat day thing. If the way I look at it, I say, I'm doing keto, right? And you kind of start cheating, or you cheat here and there, and you think, well, it's not so bad, right? Just put that into perspective. So you're telling yourself it's okay to kind of break a promise to myself, right? Say you have this goal in mind, and you have this shit. Now how I'm thinking about it, hopefully I can actually make the point. You have this goal, you have this lifestyle you want to do. You should respect yourself enough to maintain it, right? If your word is bond, right, then it should be bond to yourself as well. You shouldn't, just because it's between you, you shouldn't let that shit slide. Now, if you had a friend and they constantly told you they were going to do something, and they constantly fucking blew you off, didn't fucking, didn't stay true to their word, that shit eventually gets annoying, and you start losing respect to that person or whatnot, and you shouldn't allow that from somebody else. Because you don't allow that for somebody else to fucking disrespect you like that, why should you allow yourself to do it? So if you're going to tell yourself, look, I'm going to eat this way, here's the point. If you're going to tell yourself, I'm doing this is my lifestyle now, fucking have the self-respect to do it. And yeah, I fucking cheated 2 weeks ago. You're right. And now I haven't since. And not only I haven't since, I was listening to another podcast. I think it was the Keto Evangelist one. And it was Dr. Bruce Fife. And, well, his years of research leads him to state that his findings that stevia is not the miracle that a lot of us thought it was, or people think it is. It's not the greatest thing for you, but you know what? If that's going to help you through it, by all means. However, his research shows that the sweetener itself still causes the same insulin response. Well, not the same. Still causes an insulin response. And the whole point of trying not to have sugar and no, no carbs or anything in your diet is to stop that insulin response. So it's kind of counterintuitive, right? And let me tell you, I probably butchered all his findings, but definitely check it out yourself. But I've decided that I'm going to challenge myself into not using as much stevia. And that was that happened kind of last week, right? I want to say somewhere around Wednesday or Thursday, I texted a friend and I told him, you know what, listen to this podcast. This is what he's claiming, about stevias and stuff, and I'm gonna try. And it's not because of it's not 100% just saying, his research saying that it's going to cause the insulin response. I look at it like, if I don't want to eat, or I'm not going to introduce sugar to my diet or whatnot, using something that mimics that, I mean, it's just fucking, it's cheating, right? I mean, I'm not going to use that substance. I'm just going to use something that resembles that or gives you that feeling. So I said the next day, I go, you know what? When I do my coffee in the morning, I'm not going to use stevia. So I make the coffee and I go to grab the stevia and I'm like, oh shit, that's right. I'm not going to do it. And let me tell you, I was using the shit out of some stevia. I was buying I don't even know if it's just a little glass bottle with an eyedropper, right? It's a $20 bottle. So it had, I want to say it had like a couple ounces in there, maybe 1 or 2 ounces. But the eyedropper, when I would make my coffee in the morning, they say that fucking thing is 576 servings. Well, let me tell you how many servings I would get out that motherfucker. Maybe 30, maybe 40. I would fill that fucking eyedropper so much and just squirt like 3 or 4 squirts into coffee. And I was like, oh, this shit's good. Yeah. Man, that's how I would drink it. So you look at it like, yeah, that you are just using this sweetener and it's just, you're using this a sugar substance, and let me try to see if I can get away from that. I've already kind of gotten away from wanting and craving breads. Let me see if I can get away from this. So Thursday, make that coffee. And like I said, I wanted to put it in there. I was like, man, maybe let me go one more day. So that first coffee, that first couple sips, I was like, it's different, bitter. But I've never, ever. First of all, before going keto, I could probably count, well, I was going to say I can probably count the amount of times on my hands that I actually made I probably could actually, the amount of times I made myself coffee as an early morning drink to drink, maybe 5 times. 5 times in my life, I made myself coffee to wake up and drink. Now, I drank Starbucks some, man, you know what, those were fucking delicious. A venti iced white chocolate mocha, and I used to get 2 more shots in that motherfucker. And I wouldn't drink those for coffee. Those were fucking smoothies. Those were desserts, really. And I know I looked once and I saw the ridiculous amount of calories that fucking thing is. But man, those were my jammy jams. But so obviously I'm addicted to sweet shit, right? And I said I want to get away from that. And luckily I'm succeeding. I put, my butter, my coconut oil, 2 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream. Blend that motherfucker. Just wait a couple minutes because it's still piping hot usually. And man, actually enjoying it more without the sweetener. I'm enjoying the flavor of the actual coffee, and it's fucking delicious. So, like I said, been doing good on that, right? This week I had a doctor's visit. My scheduled a physical, right? Because I haven't seen him in a while. Scheduled a physical, and mainly because I want to know how my endocrine system is doing. I told you guys a while ago I had went to see that doctor. He was wanting to get me on testosterone. Well, I had, obviously ran out. With the birth of my daughter, I didn't want to start fucking putting on more gel. So I go see him sometime in late July. He does blood work. While my testosterone levels were a little elevated from before. They still weren't where he wanted them. So he said, well, I'm going to give you another prescription, yada, yada. Well, it turns out my new insurance company, and it's, no fault. My insurance doesn't cover it. And the doctor, the good doctor, doesn't want to prescribe a different medicine. He is set in his way. And the insurance is obviously set in theirs. And I'm stuck between these fucking idiots. And he doesn't want to change the medicine. They don't want to pay. And I'm sure as hell not fucking paying $700 a month for this shit. So they got me fucked up. I'll just have low T and be fine. So saw the doctor, and first off, she goes, "Holy shit!" She goes, "You're a different person." And I go, "Yeah." I go, "Yeah, I lost a few pounds." She asked me, "So what did you do? How much? You do exercising more and stuff like that?" I go, "I'm actually exercising less." And she looks at me like, "What?" So I start telling her, I'm eating keto. She goes, "Oh, okay." And I don't know if this was the first time she's ever heard about it. It might have been, because I later asked her, I go, what do you know about, have you ever told anybody to eat keto or whatever, or have you any of your other patients? And she kind of, I think she was kind of saying that she heard it before. I don't think she has, but she wasn't knocking it, and I thought, like I said, I've had other doctors before where, if it wasn't their way, they're like, "No, I don't want to see you. Don't do this shit. Nope." So what really amazed me, she was just like, "No, okay, let's do a comprehensive panel." And the great thing about this is, so I had blood work done at the end of March, before I started keto. Then 2.5 weeks into, it was like 3 weeks into keto, I had blood work done. And now, post 3 months, I'm going to have blood work done. So I'm going to be able to see my biomarkers change, or hopefully. And the best part about this is, I want to see what going keto has done for, and losing the bunch of weight has simply done for my testosterone alone. I've read, well, no, I do hear it because it's been podcast, and I haven't done much reading about keto and testosterone, but the claims are that it helps raise testosterone naturally. So that lab is scheduled for later on this week, so I probably be a week or two before I actually get the blood work back from that. But it's exciting to be able to see, and and it's just dumb luck that I didn't plan this. It's dumb luck, and and I was talking to the doctor, and when she said, we were talking about the blood work, and then I told her, "Listen," I go, "I know," and you're hearing this from me secondhand. I'm not a physician. This was one of the many keto podcasts that I listen to, like the Keto Evangelist, the Keto Athlete, Keto Savage podcast. All great resources. And it was in one of those podcasts, one of the doctors was talking about how when you start a ketogenic diet, in some people, your LDL, or what people perceive as your bad cholesterol, tends to go up, while all the other biomarkers get better. That tends to rise. And while most people see that and they start to panic, that alone, just the elevated LDL, is not a reason to leave the keto diet. Okay, within the LDL, there's two lipid proteins, ApoA and ApoB, and apparently the quantity of ApoA and ApoB and the ratio of that is what's more important than just the number of LDL. One of the lipid proteins is like smooth, cloudy, and it's really good for your body and everything, because it's that cloudiness is fat, and it's going to where it needs to go. While the other lipid protein is like jagged and stuff and rough, and that's the one that causes blockages and stuff. So it's that ratio and that difference that's actually more important than the LDL number. So I explained that way better right now than what I did to the doctor. And she was like, well, we'll just look and see what happens. So I'm hoping that I kind of piqued her interest too. And I know from listening to other people that most doctors would just follow this diet and they won't actually tell you specifically, which is, I don't know. I guess doctors I have had before, or I guess they always say, the fucking six servings of healthy grains, low fat, amount of protein, and starchy vegetables and whatever. So that diet, that food pyramid shit. So as soon as I know the outcome, I'll let you guys know what it looks like, and what good things we see in the biomarkers, and maybe something that I should be worried about. But we'll see. I wanted to before I found jiu-jitsu, and before I started doing jiu-jitsu, I was really big into biking, and I started off, so I didn't think, and I didn't know if there is right now, but when was this? Early 2009. So it was looking in 08, I was looking for a road bike, thin tire road bike, like to do triathlons in, because I was like, man, you know what? I had seen at that point 5 or 6 different people who donned a road bike and either started doing biathlons or triathlons and lost a bunch of weight, and I was like, you know what? Let me try this. So the ones that probably did hold my weight and were strong enough were, in the $1,000 to $2,000 range, and I was not willing to spend $1,000 or $2,000 on a fucking bike. I mean, I would spend 7, 8 because that's what I did, but I was gonna spend over a fucking $1,000 for a fucking bike. That's man, I know someone who fucking has probably $20,000 in bikes, and he's got some badass ones. He's legit got one for every occasion, and So I took up biking because I said, you know what? Well, it's cardio exercise. It's exercise, cardio. I'm outside. Um, I'm sitting down. My seated cardio, right? I love my seated cardio, and it's not going to be bad for my knees because I know, like, so fucking heavy that every time I would run, I'd hurt myself. Well, not hurt myself, but it would just hurt. My knees would fucking hurt, and it probably. You ever see that South Park episode where Kyle becomes a basketball player and has balls in his knees, and he jumps, and that's that. I think that's what my knees felt like every time I was running. So, I started mountain biking, and it wasn't really mountain biking, right? It started off just doing the same route every day. I would drive up to this mall and then ride the bike. It'd be between, I want to say 5.5 miles to a lake, around the lake, and it was the lake was like 2 miles around, and then back. So what's that? 12 miles. So it'd be 12 miles, and I did it almost every day, legit 4 times a week. And then on the weekends, I would do longer rides, up to 30, 40 miles. And by no means was I the fastest or anything, but I could do it, and it would take me forever. So I was talking myself into doing a race. And this man, the fact that I even thought about this at that time is probably scary, but it's good at the same time because my friend Jim used to always tell me, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. And look, that might have been his. I'm telling you who I heard it from. So if it's not his, my bad. Smack him for not quoting people. But so, the first time I heard it, he was the one telling me that. And so I said, you know what, maybe I can sign up for this race, and I was trying to work towards that. So the race is called La Ruta de los Conquistadores, and it's like it's a 3-stage, and by 3 stages, a 3-day event. It's about 250 something miles through Costa Rica, from the Pacific to the Gulf. Well, it's actually not the Gulf. Sorry, it is. They're saying the Atlantic, but that looks more like the Caribbean Sea. But anyways, it's, across Costa Rica. So day 1 is 110 kilometers and about 3,400 meters of elevation change. Okay? For us Americans, and I'm reading it because it's in Spanish, so it's fucking in meters. It's 11,200 feet of elevation changes. All right? And you have 11 and a half hours to complete it. Day 2 is 49 miles with 8,200 feet of elevation changes. And you have 11 hours and 45 minutes to complete it. And day 3 is 75 miles with 2,600 feet of elevation changes. And you have 10 and a half hours to complete it. Now, think about that, and think about how crazy I am to think that even now I can do that. Oh, I want to do this race, and I even have a buddy who's willing to do this with me, who's fucking gonna go to the loony bin with me and fucking do this race, because he's just as crazy as I am. And I'm not saying that this shit's gonna happen this year. Well, it obviously won't happen this year. That shit's in November, and there's no way that shit's happening. It may not be next year. It may not even be the year after that. But one day, I will do this fucking race. I think it's, I've gotten to the point where the weight loss is not just, hey, you've lost a couple pounds. I mean, it is almost life-changing weight that I've lost. Shit, it is life-changing weight. Fucking 90-something pounds, that's a fucking small human. That's 1.5 of my kid, And I think the change happened so subtle. Well, obviously it did. I didn't fucking lose 100 pounds overnight. But because the change happened so subtle, I didn't realize a lot of things that were happening that, that are different. And while, you notice things like your agility, the fact that, you can walk longer, you don't, you can stand, a lot longer, stand all day. All that shit, you kind of start seeing, there's little shit like, man, I sit down, and I talk about this before, but, I sit down in chairs and I'm like, oh shit, I actually fit in this chair like a normal person's supposed to. And yeah, I'm still fucking fat as shit. I know this. 291 pounds is not healthy for someone my size. It's not, my height. But the fact that I no longer look at it like I can't lose the weight. It's just a matter of how long is it going to take me. It really is. And I can't stress that enough. It's really, it really has changed my life. And if you are on the hook, and I know starting keto blows. It's the worst thing that you can go through, especially if you get the keto flu bad, or you have one of those episodes that I had, in a couple of those episodes that I had in the beginning where, I try to work out too soon into starting keto and your body feels like absolute dog shit. And it fucking sucks. But if you just push through, yeah, it's painful. It's not even a fucking painful thing. No pain to it. It's just, it's actually great mental work because you're telling yourself, yes, this sucks, but I'm going to do it. You think I want to really, I like it now, but you really think I want to roll a 5K? No, I start doing it and then I start enjoying it as I'm doing it. I really don't want to do it. I'm lazy. I don't like work. I like it how I feel afterwards. To find the motivation to do it sucks. But you have to do it. You have to dig deep. You have to know, that you need to get healthy. Or that I need to get healthy, right? And so this week, obviously, if you're a fan of comedy, you know that Ralphie May, the comedian, has passed away. Apparently he had a cardiac arrest. Rest in peace, Ralphie. And, it's just, how many more people do you need to see pass before they are your canary in a coal mine? And I listened to Ari Shafir's podcast, and he was talking about, his friend Ralphie, and how every time man, it's fucking real morbid. That every time he was saying goodbye to him, he felt as if he knew he was saying goodbye to him as the last time. And that, and I'll tell you, and that I knew I was at the point where I was feeling the same thing. I felt so fucking horrible. And so I would fall asleep and just laying on my back, my legs would fall asleep. I would have to kind of cock my hips so I didn't feel like I was cutting the blood to my legs. It shit fucking happened every night. And I noticed it was getting harder to put on my socks. And I always sweat. Like I'll take a shower, start getting ready, and start sweating. But I noticed that I was getting sweatier for smaller stuff, and not by smaller stuff, just smaller movements were causing more of a heat response in the body, and I knew I had to change something. There's so much death in the world, and a lot of it is unexplainable and not necessarily unexplainable, inevitable. It's, some people are terminally ill, between accidents and, some of those things are unavoidable. But when it comes to something as in, eating right, and it fucking sounds like such a hypocrite. I've made the change, and I know just because I've failed before, don't stop trying. There's been a couple of times where I was giving up, and this, like I said, before I started this, I was at that point. I was giving up. I started the podcast in hopes to keep me accountable, and it has. And not only has it keeping me accountable, I feel like someone's always watching. I have certain people all in different facets of my life. And it's not multiple, it's not, a bunch of people, but it's enough people to where they say, oh, I listen to the podcast. And you know what? I have to be true. Whatever I say here, I can't be fake. I'd get fucking called out, So this helps keep me accountable and make sure that, like I said, I'm always being watched. I know I got to make and it's not about feeling like I'm being watched, right? It's about being able to say, listen, guys, if I have the strength to say, no, I'm not going to eat that, or no, I'm not going to, Okay, so with the stevia thing, right? I had, right before I listened to that podcast, I probably bought 3 6-packs. They were fucking on sale, and them cream sodas are the shit. They're my favorite flavor. But I had bought 3 packs of those. They were on sale for $3.99. That's a fucking steal. So I picked up, the last 3 they had. So as soon as I listened to the podcast, I'm like, fuck, I just bought these damn things. And So I said, well, let me do this. I'm going to. A lot of people say you can't really, stop doing everything at once because it's a bit of a shock to the body, especially when it comes to keto. A lot of guys are like, well, either start doing the intermittent fasting first or, start doing keto first or whatever. Try not to do them both. It's really a shock. I did them both. Fuck it. I went all in, fucking, and it's helped. I don't know if it's helped. I like it. It didn't, it sucked. It really did the beginning. And maybe it would have been a lot easier had I not done intermittent fasting along with starting keto at the same time. But now that I did, it's so much easier for me. So I was like, you know what? Let me not do that with the stevia thing. I won't drink it in my coffee, but I'm gonna finish these cans, And it took me a weekend. So I listened. I know when it was. It was Thursday. So drank a couple on Friday. And Sunday. Monday, I had one left. I'm sorry, Monday. Sunday night. Sunday, I had one left, and I took it while I was going to the airport to pick up my wife and daughter. And so during those those days, I continued. My coffees, no sweetener. I was just drinking the Zevias. And now we're in the Wednesday, and I'm good. Like, I kind of missed it. And that was another thing. That was just another crutch. Just like the sweetener is the crutch for soda. You don't need fucking soda. Drink water. So yeah, now, I'm drinking water. I have, my coffee. I picked it up. I'm doing two bulletproof coffees a day. The second one of the day only has coconut oil, and instead of heavy cream, about half a cup of almond milk, and just a couple squirts of not a couple squirts, probably about 2 tablespoons of MCT oil. So you got those two at night, in the afternoon, about 2.5 in the morning. Yeah, that's what I do, and because, like I said, because of that, the 2 coffees a day I eat when I'm hungry, and that's partly another thing. Like, I don't need to make the lunches or anything because, if I want to go home, make the fathead fucking pizza. Let me tell you, that has been a staple in my transition to keto. I probably do 2 of those a week. I think there's been a couple of weeks in there where I did 3 a week. My go-to lunch, in a hurry is like Chipotle. So I do and I think I said this before. The salad, just chicken. I don't even do double chicken anymore. I used to always do double chicken. I just do chicken, salad, no dressing because I don't really like it. Cheese, sour cream, 2 things of guac, boom. That's what I have there. And to be honest, I probably eat there about twice a week too. And they're just because it's easy when. Like I said, sometimes I don't know when I'm going to get hungry. So when I do get hungry, I'm like, fuck it. Chipotle's right there. It's a 5-minute drive. I'll be back in the office in 15 minutes. Let me do it. So I challenge you. Just look at what you're eating, right? For those of you who have about to start keto or want to, let me tell you, first off, go to subreddit keto on Reddit. And let me tell you, use that. I know I've said this before. Use that. It's a great resource. especially look into keto flu and what you can do to minimize that, because that's going to be very helpful for you. But, if you are doing well on your diet, and I say look at it and see what you think you're using as a crutch, aka the sweetener, and if you think don't do it if it's going to cause you to fail and get out of ketosis or out of this way of eating. If it's going to cause you to cheat, don't fucking do it. But challenge yourself. See how much, and look, I don't like the cheat day mentality. It works for some people. That's fine. If you say, oh, I'm going to do cheat week a meal. Listen, if that works for you, that works for you. But try to do one every 2 weeks. Or one every month. Get fucking crazy. Yeah, I know the idea of celebrating a victory, or even just, I want this because I've been doing this. But why? Wouldn't it taste so much better when you get to where you want to be? And that's, for me, that's what switched. I think that, along with the whole vanity thing, just looks, is what does it for me. And I want all of you to feel this, because it's, once you do it, and the very first time you feel it, you're gonna know. That's why I felt like I suffered. When I was suffering, it's because of this. When I felt like I was hungry, and or pushing through a workout, or this is why I did it. And you feel that, you get that gratification of someone saying, I admire the hard work you've put in. I respect the hard work you've put in. Like, there's nothing, to me, that feeling right there, that feels fucking good. And like I said, I really hope all of you guys get that. Because that's, man, once you feel it, like I said, you just know you're on the right path. And whether that takes another year, 2 years, 5 years, it doesn't matter. You've got that. You're a different person, and it's definitely life-changing. So, thank you guys. That's the podcast. Remember, Friday, October 13th, the Geese drop. They are first come, first serve. They will be, the store will be live 12 p.m. Eastern. So if you're on the West Coast, it's 9 o'clock in the morning for you guys. Or is it 8? Shit, is it 4? So I hope you guys are excited about that. And I said thank you for thank you for listening, downloading. Please help me out and throw some reviews up there for me. Hopefully they're positive, but beggars can't be choosers. So thank you guys very much, and see you guys. Hit you guys up next week. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Fat Boy Podcast. Have a nice day.